Welcome back to WC Coins World, and today we are embarking on an extensive journey into the multifaceted and enthralling history of the 1976 5 cents coin. Its background. Inception in the mid-1970s during a period of significant transformation. For the United States, mint its role within the broader context of 20th century coinage, the social, economic, and political forces that influenced its production first. Let us cast our minds back to the historical period of the early to mid-1970s, when the Nixon administration was navigating the post-war economic challenges, inflationary pressure, and the end of Bretton Woods. These factors impacted mint operations in metal composition policies and the decision-making process regarding coin production. The United States Mint had long been responsible for striking the nickel with its alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a standard that dated back to the early 20th century. This alloy was well suited for coinage purposes due to its durability and resistance to wear and corrosion. Now stepping forward to 1976, we encounter a coin that, while dimensionally similar to previous issues, carries its own unique story rooted in the context of the nation's bicentennial celebrations. Although the 5-cent coin itself did not receive a special bicentennial design, unlike the quarter, half dollar, and dollar, the cultural zeitgeist of bicentennial patriotism permeated the era and subtly underscored the minting operations across all denominations. Moreover, the production volumes of the 1976 5-cent coins were among the highest in the decade, reflecting both rising demand for coinage in everyday commerce and the mint's increased efficiency in large-scale striking processes. Further, the state of coin collecting was also evolving in the 1970s, with more numismatists paying attention to mint marks, key dates, and the subtle variations in planchet preparation, misstrikes, errors, and die polish line varieties. Collectors began examining 1976 nickels more closely, especially given the overall interest in 1976 as a historical anchor point. Then we delve deeper into the mint mark topic for the 1976 5-cent coin. In that year, nickels were produced at 3 mint facilities, namely Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each carrying their respective identification. The Philadelphia issues famously bear no mint mark, an outcome of the city's tradition. At that time, the Denver pieces carry the familiar letter D, and the San Francisco proofs display the S. The Philadelphia coinage bore no mint mark. This practice had been long-standing until the mid-1980s, thus the absence of a mint mark on a 1976 nickel indicates its origin in Philadelphia, and conversely, the presence of a D or an S denotes Denver and San Francisco, respectively. Collectors pay careful attention to these distinctions, as minting volumes and strike qualities can differ across facilities. Next, let us consider the production figures and distribution of these mint marks. In 1976, Philadelphia produced the bulk of the circulation nickel output, with Denver following in substantial but lesser quantities, and San Francisco focusing on proof sets with specially selected planchets and high-quality strikes. The Proof S versions were primarily destined for collectors, packaged in proof sets and sold directly by the mint. This made them rarer in general circulation and highly prized by numismatists. The high mintage numbers from Philadelphia and Denver mean that most ordinary nickels exchanged hands in everyday transactions, and many ended their lives in piggy banks, jars, or registers, only to be rediscovered by collectors decades later. The designs of the coin should also be examined, albeit the obverse depicted Thomas Jefferson's portrait created by Felix Schlag, originally introduced in 1938 and modernized only slightly since. Yet by 1976, the portrait had become iconic. On the reverse, the Monticello design, also by Schlag, stood firm. The simplicity and recognizability of Jefferson's home resonated with many and served as a counterpoint to the more flamboyant bicentennial motif elsewhere. Numismatic study often compares the sharpness of Monticello on Denver versus Philadelphia strikes, or the reflectivity and cameo contrast on San Francisco proofs. We can further immerse ourselves in the minutiae by analyzing the die characteristics and die wear patterns at each mint. For example, Denver strikes sometimes exhibit slightly softer relief or minor die doubling near the rim or devices, while Philadelphia strikes may show sharper strike detail and a heavier Force of impression, these subtle variations become pivotal for advanced collectors or specialists focusing on die-state census work continuing. Our exploration, we might study planchet quality and finish. Differences with San Francisco proof mint pieces often featuring a brilliant, mirror-like field and frosted devices giving a cameo appearance while circulation. Strikes are more satiny or matte reflecting coining pressure and die polishing. Of the era, the role of the mint director, the appointment of mint leadership and its influence on funding modernization or quality control processes during the 1970s also shaped the scenario. The efforts to upgrade presses, install better annealing ovens, or adopt computer in mint planning had behind-the-scenes effects on consistency of strike quality and planchet preparations. Furthermore, the impact of rising base metal prices in the 1970s not enough to force a composition change for the nickel, yet causing some internal budgetary pressures as copper and nickel alloys became more expensive compared to earlier decades. This also fueled ongoing conversations among policymakers and the public about potential alternatives such as copper-plated zinc or clad coins, which eventually manifested in other denominations even though the nickel remained unchanged in 1976. We continue our odyssey by exploring collector communities in the 1970s through 1980s when people started forming local clubs or subscribing to coin magazines, browsing early issues of Coin World or Numismatic News where articles appeared about 1976 nickel mintage, mint mark varieties, error coins such as off-center or double-strike specimens. These articles educated a growing collector base and increased demand for even regular date coins such as the 1976 D or 1976 P nickels. Advanced hobbyists began searching jars and rolls specifically for those with exceptional strike or surface quality or minor varieties such as double die obverse, though rare. Such examples generate excitement and discussion at regional coin shows. The story then moves into the role of circulating collector interest when 1976 coins turned 25 and then 40 years old. Collectors valued 50-year sets and sought out mint state examples of 1976 nickels, often graded MS 65 or higher with Philadelphia or Denver mint marks with eye appeal and luster and Cameroon contrast in the case of proofs graded PR 66 cm and above. These coins command premium prices in registry sets and auctions. Decades later, online marketplaces including eBay created new venues for trade sales and research into 1,976 nickels varieties with photograph catalogs and help from fellow hobbyists. Modern die and variety attribution guides document numerous minor specimens such as certain die polishing lines on the obverse or small rim, lamination flaws, allowing today's collector to study and obtain examples at various price levels. Then reflecting on preservation techniques. Collectors invest in archival safe envelopes, coin slabs, flips, coin cabinets, and recommendation to store and preserve 1976 nickels in low humidity, stable temperatures, avoiding PVC flips and using inert materials to prevent toning or corrosion. The tone of nickel may vary from natural light gray to golden or bluish tints depending on storage environment, since the coin contains nickel, which is fairly corrosion resistant, but still subject to toning primarily on the surface with sulfur compounds or airborne contaminants. Next, we journey into the modern grading and authentication landscape with third-party grading services such as PCGS and NGC certifying and grading 1976 nickels with Sheldon scales from 1 to 70, awarding MS prefixes for circulation strikes and PR for proofs. Collectors pay special attention to designations like deep cameo DCM, proof like PL, or full bands on the reverse, emphasizing presence of full relief bands on Monticello's columns. These factors directly influence value and collectability. Moving forward, we can delve into how dealers price common date mint state nickels versus proofs or high-grade examples, listing Whitman or Red Book valuations, showing modest premiums for MS 63, MS 65 grades on P and D, but substantial premiums for MS 67 or PR 69 CM, where surviving breathtaking flashy examples become rare and valuable. By comparison, recalling famous auction records, if any ultra-premium. 1976 nickels fetched thousands of dollars, each forming centerpiece of registry. Sets or specialist collections devoted to one year or one denomination now. Also considering educational outreach by coin clubs or YouTube channels. Like yours, how they produce videos about how to identify mint marks. Spot full bands. Understand cameo contrasts and avoid counterfeit slab labels or fake. Deep cameo claims, thereby promoting knowledge and confidence in transactions. Next appear the importance of reference works from A Guidebook of United States Coins, Red Book, which provides mintage figures, typical values and mint mark breakdowns, and Variety Plus, or other attribution guides that list known die varieties. For 1,976 nickels, this helps both beginner and advanced collectors to enrich their understanding km. Then we might walk through the significance of mint mark location and appearance, how the D on Denver coins is small and located near the rim but distinguishable. Across where how the S-proof mint mark appears near Jefferson's portrait in a frosted cameo finish contrasted with mirror fields. Next we could compare with other years and how the 1975 or 1977 nickels differ in mintage totals or public interest, noting that 1976 stands out for the bicentennial era context, despite lacking a special design likewise. Exploring hypothetical scenarios. If the nickel design had changed to honor the bicentennial, whether that would have increased its visibility in modern collecting or altered its cultural resonance. Next, we can examine how the mint's archival documentation from that era, including production logs, press sheets, mint correspondence housed at the National Archives or the Smithsonian Institution, provide researchers insight into the number of coins struck per mint each month, die maintenance schedules, or planchet batch quality control samples. Such data contributes to advanced study programs and academic histories of the mint. Then segue into the story of special error varieties in 1976. Nickels such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, lamination flaws, double dies, if any such specimens have become known and are recorded in error coin databases. Why such anomalies occur due to misfeeds or die rotation problems and how they are detected and collected. Then moving into the broader cultural significance of the nickel and Jefferson iconography, how the Jefferson portrait reflects democratic ideals of liberty and the arts, architecture, imagery, and how Monticello embodies Jefferson's intellectual legacy and that resonate with collectors beyond mere metal value. Then exploring how modern digital resources like online forums, and trackers, NGC census, PCGS populations, and collector communities help users research. For example, 1976 SPR 69 DCM nickel, how many exist and what price points they achieve. Auction results from heritage auctions or Stax Bowers. Public records reflect growth in value for high-grade examples over the years. Following collector interest and economic trends, next we can address preservation and the importance of not cleaning nickels, since cleaning diminishes luster, may cause hairlines and lower grades and value. Giving advice on correct care practices. Then finally, to wrap this extended historical narrative, we reflect on how the 1976 5-cent coin serves as a microcosm of the mint's processes, cultural context of a nation celebrating its 200th year, how mint marks represent geographic production diversity, how collectors deepen appreciation through grading, variety study, preservation, and community sharing, and how your channel, WC Coins World, continues this legacy by educating, inspiring, and connecting enthusiasts with the quiet elegance and history of a humble but meaningful coin, such as the 1976 5-cent coin. Thank you for joining this journey.